All right, and a fantastic good morning to all of you. Good afternoon or good evening, depending on where you are. Welcome to the official Trade Talk channel, where I show you how I analyze price for the most consistent and higher probable entries to help you guys become better traders. Bitcoin's taking a dump this morning. We already took a trade on it this morning. We were expecting the swing low, or today's low, to be breached, and then we wanted to see a bullish reaction from that, essentially to give us a little bit of bullish continuation from yesterday's attempted breakout. So if we go over here to the daily time frame, let's get rid of this. You're going to see, like, this is your last and highest daily resistance level right there, and we closed under it. So the breakout did not happen. One thing that's got me a little bit concerned about this price action in general is the SPX. If we go back over here and look at this, you're going to see that we've been trading at weekly resistance for multiple days. There you have 4 days there trading at weekly resistance, and you got above it, and then you closed well under it yesterday. Today you're getting a breakdown. You are currently trading under supply and just at demand, where you're kind of like in the stalemate for now. Tomorrow's CPI, so we could have a very small range day. We may have set the low a day already just now, potentially. We'll see when we open up at 9:30 where we're currently at, or where we're at then. But yeah, so you are at the top end of the range, essentially, and you're not able to break out. To me, that smells of weakness, but like I said, it is CPI tomorrow. There's your Bollinger Band, so you can see that if this is the probable move, you have a lot more of potential downside than you do of upside looking at the Bollinger Bands. We were looking for Bitcoin to break out. We have been bullish on Bitcoin for a while. About 7 weeks now, we've been taking bullish trades. And, taking a bullish trade up here, all the way up here, probably not the smartest thing in the world to do, but that's what we were watching. If I go over here to the weekly time frame, you're going to see something that is not pretty. All right, you're under weekly resistance. If you take out this low, then you will have taken out the entirety of yesterday's range. To me, that smells of weakness more than it does of strength. So we're going to watch this level right there. Current weekly support is just last week's close, and you're just a very small piece away from that right now this morning. So if we go to the 5-minute time frame, this is what you got. There's weekly resistance. You broke through it. You're trading under it. You've already retested it from the underneath side. Now, typically, it doesn't mean anything on a 5-minute time frame, not for a weekly level. But the fact that we're under it means a lot to me as far as seeing bullish continuation. So when do we switch up our bias and become looking for short side entries? Well, tomorrow we got to see how CPI comes out. Does it come out higher than 9.1 or does it come out lower? I think expected is 8.7. Last month we had 9.1. So anything under 9.1 is going to look good, and that could cause a bullish price or a bullish move from that. So this, outsized move to the downside that we're seeing today could be, getting ready for that, essentially. Getting everybody off sides, getting them nice and short. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. For today, there's really nothing to do as far as new trade entries. Yesterday during the live stream for the members only, or the Discord only, we took a long position on Euro USD. We were looking at it right here. This is where we were currently trading, or where we were trading yesterday morning when we took the long position. Our target was that right there. So we were able to get long here, and it didn't look like it was going to play out. So like on this candle here, when we were trading down here, looked a little bit bad, but ultimately the next hour happened and our target was hit. That's when you need to move your stops to break even and let the rest ride. And then instantly it came right back down to our entry, but then this morning trading higher, but also finding resistance. Now this thing looks terrible on the daily. It is just piano keys. When you print candles like this and you're unable to go anywhere or do anything, it's extremely difficult to take, very good trade entries, because either way you want to look at this thing is good. Like if you want to look at resistance as the short, you've tested that already this morning and you are pulling off of it. There was your entry if you were looking for the short trade on a euro. All right, so that's that. Go back out to the daily real quick so we can show. Just look at this. You've been trending up and under this for a few days now. Since the first time we got up to it was here on the 1st of August. And then since that, you have done nothing but trade in a range. You took out the lows here of just this range. So if we get rid of all this stuff, we're going to leave the yellow line up there because that's parity. But if you put your level there as support, you can see that you took out the low there, tested it again for support, and it held. And we're getting this move to the upside back into daily resistance. So you are wedging up. All right. We were looking for it to break out yesterday. So we were looking to get long, and we were looking for the expansion and the rip up because everything was bullish yesterday. The SPX, Bitcoin, the dollar was off. Like everything was bullish. So that's the reason why we took that long. Typically, we don't look to take longs when we're sitting at the 50. We like to go lower when we're trading under that, as that, it shows more weakness than strength. So currently, you could potentially wait for a retest of daily res, see if you can get back up in there and see if that level holds. I am still long on my position. This is the paper account. We did take this trade yesterday on the paper account, and after we got, we couldn't get the move we wanted, so we essentially closed off half the position and moved the stop to break even. So when this happened yesterday, it took that position off. But I am still currently long. I did take off 2/3 of the position this morning, and I have my stop move to break even on that. I did close down the euro or the Aussie dollar short that I was in. There was my short entry. I went ahead and closed that down today because since I took the short, we have went nowhere. Literally nowhere. So there's a cost benefit for sitting in something like that. Well, it's not a benefit, it's actually a negative, because you are getting charged for the carry for the swap if you're sitting in it and it's negative. All right, so yeah, I went ahead and closed that position out as it's not doing anything, not going anywhere. USD JPY. Let's go over here and look at this. Same thing, right? We were watching weekly res, or, well, no, we were watching this. We haven't tested it yet. There was something else here. Oh, yeah, this old support level there. Got it. All right. Yeah, that's something else we were watching. We were watching these two levels here. We wanted to see it trade back up into them and then find rejection. It is kind of sort of finding rejection. Today is a very tiny range. I mean, very small. Yesterday, you took out this previous day's high and then had a retracement. So right now, this could be setting up for a short. Maybe not today, maybe for tomorrow, right? You can keep your weekly levels up there if you want, but if you're taking a day trade, I strongly suggest that you take them based off of your daily resistance instead. So basically what I would want to see if I was going to be looking to re-enter a new short position on USD JPY, I need to see it close back under 135.014, which is daily res. It's also this candle's open. I want to see it close under that. And then CPI, we can essentially wait for a stop run or a wick up, tagging daily res, or even potentially taking out wherever today's high ends up, right? So if we trade inside, close under, we'll be more bearish than bullish on it. We'll be looking for those trades. You can see here on the daily how you've been riding this 50 for the last 3 days. Today, if it closes above the open, you will have breached above the 50 on a closing basis. If you close back under the open, you're going to be back under the 50. So any pullbacks, like I said, tomorrow back into the daily resistance or even today's high, wherever that is, could potentially be an entry point for tomorrow, the short trade. And that's only if we get a lower CPI number. Let me get daily effects pulled up here so that way I can show you the calendar. You're going to get a very bright screen. So, all right, so here you go. Core inflation is expected to come in higher at 5.9%. They're looking at 6.1%. And then this was previous to the 9.1% on the inflation rate year over year. Get the hell out of here. Oh, you bastard. Inflation rate, you can see that they're expecting an 8.7. So anything under 9.1 would be considered good news. Anything under 8.7 would be really good news. Well, at least a bullish reaction is what we're expecting from that. So, bullish reaction on risk, then we look to sell the dollar again. If we go over here and look at the dollar, it's having a pretty interesting day. Had a nice big bullish engulfing a couple days ago, and that was following one that we had at the range lows. So at your trend line, this was just taking out the previous day's low. Big strong move to the upside. Basically the level we were watching for potential longs if the trend was going to remain was right there, and you can see that you did close under it, but then also putting in another bullish engulfing. So this is difficult price action here. It looks like your trend to the upside is looking for bullish continuation, right? But another thing is a lot of people have probably taken profits on this final stab to the upside. That's what gave us this pullback. So as of right now, you have to look at it as a pullback only until you at least break down. If you break down, you will have broken this year's uptrend, which is important, right? This is your year-to-date chart. Right here, year-to-date. You can clearly see that this thing has been bullish all year long. So to break down below that trend line, don't put a lot of weight on the trend lines. I'm just saying it could be suggestive that we'd be looking for more continuation to the downside and thus helping Bitcoin and risk to break out to the upside. But as long as it's trading under, as long as risk is under the weekly resistance, this to me looks like you're going to have to start looking to potentially change your bias. There's still a lot of room on the SPX to the downside. I mean, if you just look at last week's range, it's very tiny in comparison to the previous week's range. Some of these assets or some of the indices are really close to hitting 20% off the lows, which is technically considered a bull market when you're 20% off the lows. Let me do this on the NASDAQ. I'm pretty sure the NASDAQ is the only one that is approaching that number there. We got 20% there. You can see that this trend line is clearly acting as resistance this week. It's a weekly time frame. That's a weekly range so far. Today's just Tuesday. So have we put in the weekly high, or are we working on the weekly low? Once again, you're at the top end of an extended move. Put your Bollinger Bands on there. It shows you. Now, this doesn't technically mean to get short either, right? It just means we're up there, and there's more of a probabilistic downside move than of an upside move. But this could break out, and then that would change, right? Because if you do get a breakout, then a short squeeze could come into play. And if you do get a short squeeze, we've seen short squeezes last for many days, right? And you might not even get a chance to enter it. So I'm not going to take any long trades on this while it's up there like that. I thought I had put, let me check on the IWN. Right there is IWN's 20% off the low. You can see how it traded right up to it. And you're pulling back pre-market. You're under yesterday's open, which is typically a bearish sign, right? So essentially what you would see on the open on the IWM would be something like that, right? You open down here, you run up, you tag resistance, you roll over. But the SPX isn't really down that far. Bitcoin is down almost 2%, almost 3% now. So to me, this was your last thing, and I can't look at this as a bull trap because we didn't close above. But just taking out yesterday's entire range, to me, will smell of, disgustingness, or potentially looking for downside trades for the rest of the week. And I'm okay with shorting it because, like I said, there's more meat on the bone to the downside than there is on the upside. Thanks, mate. Your streaming has helped me a lot. Awesome. Good to know. The one day I stuck to price levels, didn't watch dump, see where it landed, got burned. Yeah, we took a loss this morning as well. We were looking for today's low to be smoked, and then we wanted to see a bullish reaction. We did not get that. And then shortly after that happened, this thing just crucified longs. So way up here was the low of day. We were watching an hourly support up here, right? We were watching support right there. Let's get rid of this line as to not confuse anybody. So we were watching that level first. But then I told everybody, if it breaks down below the level, you could just watch the swing low down there, the daily low. If you're going to be bullish on the day, once you run the low, you should get that bullish reaction. And that did not happen. Didn't even come close to happening. There's your run of the lows. You had one 5-minute period where you closed as a bullish candle, down. Same thing, one bullish candle, down. Then we traded sideways down here for a little bit. I was assuming that maybe it tags the weekly resistance and then gets a bounce. Nope, down. Weekly res, down. It's probably going to bounce soon, but if anything, I wouldn't be looking to get long this. Not with that much momentum to the downside. You're down almost 3% on the day. This was the move, right? When you're looking to be a day trader taking trades, you're looking for a daily range expansion. We've gotten the daily range expansion. It was down, all right? So trying to buy the low of day now doesn't make sense at all. What will likely happen is if a low does form down here, you'll probably trade up. Maybe even you get as high as yesterday's low. But ultimately, I would assume that by the end of the day, you'll be smoking that low, right? You'll be taking that low out because retail loves to try to pick bottoms. We gave it one attempt there. And that was only based on bullish continuation. It did not act the way I liked. Once it started pushing lower, I went ahead, closed out the position, and said, screw it. Got questions of, do you buy the weekly res or any other levels? And I said, no. I lost a trade today. Not looking to lose any more. Now, there is another asset that we were watching. Nope, it's on watch. Damn it. NASDAQ getting smoked today as well. And that is Aussie Swiss. We were watching this level right here based on daily support. daily support. Now you're red on the day, almost a whole 0.5%. So today might not be the trade, right? But you can watch your daily close down there, 0.66446. That is the close on forex.com. It might be different on Oanda. It is different on Oanda. So there it is on Oanda. It's still, it's different, but it's not. I mean, you're still in the daily support, right? You're still in the daily support. So if it's not today, if the trade isn't today, then wait till tomorrow. If you go over here to the hourly time frame, you'll see this. This is what I was looking for, right? We tagged daily support, created intraday support there. For the last 4 hours, it has held. See that? It has held. Now, would I get long this? No. No, because there's a really good chance that you're going to run down and smoke this low. 4 hours you've been trading here. So more than likely, you're going to run these stops. For anybody that got long based on this position or based on this setup, they're going to get stopped out. It's not a long even if you look at your RSI. You're under the 50. So that's why you're seeing a lot of these assets have trouble up in here, because it's resistance and tons of it. Tons of it. You've essentially been trading sideways for many weeks here. Look at all these wicks to the upside on those weeklies. And weekly resistance is still intact. So looking for longs, it was just literally the only setup that I seen that was takeable. The euro trade was from yesterday. You are currently trading above weekly resistance on the euro. This is just Tuesday. Just Tuesday. But once again, you're seeing, weak assets not being able to get anything going. And if we go look over here at currency futures, pull up the Japanese yen. I mean, we got 2 nice bullish weeks off of the lows. But, you're essentially right back down to old resistance or, last week's open. So if that holds, then it's okay. We can see maybe more upside. But to be honest with you, they're not doing anything with their monetary policy that even suggests looking for longs on it. Right? It's unfortunate, but it is what it is. Canadian into support here as well. But it's another one of those, kind of setup things. This one is probably more keen to work out to the upside than the Aussie Swiss trade. And you do have a similar thing going on over here intraday. Right? It's just formed up, not doing anything. This is probably going to be the rest of today's price action for most assets based on tomorrow being CPI and being such a huge number to watch for. Big, big number. So higher, bearish, right? Higher, I expect Bitcoin more than likely to play out for the rest of this week, maybe even in the next week, to the downside. If that number's higher. If it's lower than 8.7, like a good low number, then this weekly range will probably still be intact, and we could see it run on up into the highs during the later part of the week. So it is Tuesday. Typically your weekly high is set Tuesday and Wednesday, or Wednesday at the latest. You usually will have either a high or a low in. If the high's in, then you're going to be looking for more downside on Bitcoin, right? But tomorrow's print is going to be vitally important. I wouldn't doubt it if you stayed trading inside of these 2 lines for the rest of the day. It's disgusting price action, right? We've been chopping around sideways, hardly able to get anything going. This is your last week's range. This is your fresh week's range. You're essentially at the open. This is where you open. Nice bullish expansion, right back into it. That screams weakness to me, not strength. Something similar to what we did when we print the fresh weekly high last week. We were all over it then, right? Right there. When you print a fresh weekly high or a fresh weekly monthly high, then you get a bearish reaction. It doesn't look great. But you were able to do that, so that does mean that you do have a fresh monthly high. This is August's high currently, right? But you are rejecting, and you are red on the month. Red on the month. So that's what we were not wanting to see happen. You didn't take out July's high yet, but you did put in a fresh monthly high for August. And now you're trading under your monthly open, which was also that weekly level we were watching. Looks pretty bearish for now, right? So the CPI number is going to be important. I mean, I can't say it enough. SPX, same thing, stalling out at weekly res, got well above it yesterday. Right here, it looked like we were going to see big bearish move, and then it happened after, a couple hours after. So your 11 a.m. candle opens, pushes up into resistance, and then falls. And then you just traded sideways until this morning, and now you're down further. So not a whole lot to do today on the stream, unfortunately. Yeah, Aussie dollar looking like the short may be coming back into play. Let's look at pound dollar. Nothing, not doing anything. This was the ECB rate decision, or not the ECB, sorry, the pound rate decision there. Big move to the downside. This pushed up and essentially faded the move. Then you got to push lower, right back up. So you're printing piano keys again. Daily looks like this. I mean, just ugly. No bearish continuation. You closed above support on the daily, right? And you've been trading inside of this day's range ever since. And this day is currently trading inside of yesterday's range. So you're wedging up. This one, to me, looks like it wants to break down. So we're going to keep an eye on this level here. This is the only place, or the resistance level above it, that you can look for potential short entries. One spot 21599, one spot 21494. Do not short it here. If it's going to trade up into this, you want to see an immediate reaction and roll over. If you start closing hourlies above that, then you're probably looking for bullish continuation. So be careful on that one. We're going to look for longs on USD CAD until it breaks down, or if it breaks down, because it's into support right there. So close below, and then you don't look for longs anymore, right? Just keep your eyes peeled on it. Aussie yen looking nice and bullish. This is from the yen weakness, because Aussie is weak today. Aussie's weak today, but I mean, if you were going to look at this as a short, it's possible still. I mean, if it gets back under, I would have to say this candle's low, then you can look for shorts. Until that happens, you got to expect it to be trading up to at least supply. So there's still, a little ways for this thing to go back to the upside. The daily candle that you're seeing right now on Aussie yen, that's the daily candle I wanted to see on Bitcoin for bullish continuation. Hence the getting long at the daily low, right? It just didn't happen. And that's trading. Nobody knows what price will do ever. You just have to take trades at ideal locations and essentially hope for the best. Once you take the position, you get your stops situated, you're good to go. You will either make money or lose money. ETH is down almost 4% on the day. So once again, ETH is moving much more than Bitcoin is. You have already taken out yesterday's low. But ETH broke out. ETH structure is different than Bitcoin. ETH broke out two different ways. You broke out above that resistance, which broke out above that resistance. And then you even took out this old support level where people were looking to get short. But it ended up paying off for today if they were able to figure out where in this wick to position themselves. I wouldn't be looking to get short or long anything right now, right? Wait for tomorrow. Let today's range situate itself. Because once it does, you have levels all the way up here. So tomorrow, if we're trading in here during CPI, then we could wait, right, for the number to come out and do something similar to what we were looking for doing on non-farm payrolls last week. If we're trading in this area tomorrow, then you can get a flash wick up to smoke out this high, or a flash wick down to smoke out today's low. Either way, will be looking to go the opposite direction. Now, if you get really good news and you get a big flash wick up to the upside only, then you're just going to probably miss the trade. I hate getting long or short at intraday resistance or support right in front of a big news print, because you're likely going to get wicked out. That's just the way news is. And then that was pretty much it. Snaps. The entire move up that we've seen on Snap has been retraced. So we can take this off watch. We were looking for bullish continuation on that, and we just haven't gotten it. Let's go look at Tesla, because I know Tesla was coming off. Yeah. So you don't want to ever get long into resistance. That's why, right there. You're gapping down a little bit this morning, below yesterday's close. You will be coming into daily support, but we decided to wait for this level down here, which is based on the weekly, right? These are daily levels. Boom, boom. You can see how this one has been holding perfectly on the weekly closes. Had a couple days you closed above it and then down. So almost trading inside yesterday's range, but there's a pretty good chance you're going to be taking out yesterday's low. If you're opening up there, you could watch yesterday's low or target yesterday's low. So intraday, maybe a 5-minute candle up to this price and then down, target yesterday's low. Make sure you take, or previous day's low, make sure you take profits there. And that's only because everything is weak, right? Risk is weak today. But it can definitely find support. This is a very solid, sturdy uptrend. There's no point in drawing a trend line there because it's damn near parabolic. It'll be broken just on 5 sideways days. But watch this level down here, and that's A1665. You want to see an immediate bullish reaction there for the potential uptrend to continue. Good mornings, good mornings, good morning traders. Good morning on holiday, but still following from Greece. Awesome. Good morning, y'all. Slothbag says, Sup Heath, aka the chosen one. I don't know about all that. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, good morning. What's the website you use to check CPI? Daily Effects. This one. It's just dailyeffects.com. And then over here, you're going to pull up calendars. You got a central bank calendar here, which is fantastic, and an economic calendar. Central bank calendar is fantastic because it shows you when every single one of the FOMC, ECB, BOEs, BOJs, all that stuff right there for the entire year. All right. Next FOMC is going to be September the 21st. That's a little bit more than a month away. So this CPI number is going to be big. It's going to be big, and then FOMC will be the next biggest thing to watch. We already had NFP. We had NFP Friday, and we had a lower unemployment. So technically, the market can react bearish to that because that means that, the Fed has more room to continue its aggressive rate hiking approach, essentially. So yeah, that's that. Most cryptos are down. I guess I got rid of my watch list. Damn. I did. I got rid of all crypto watch lists. Purple is still crypto. We got a couple things that are up today. That will not be up once the open occurs. That will be down because that's what we had yesterday on Bitcoin, a 4% move to the upside. But mostly everything else is red on the day. Yeah. I was expecting it to be a pullback day. It's something else. This is not just a pullback. That is a lot of selling. That's heavy selling. You have essentially wiped out yesterday's gains. And when you do that, that's never bullish, especially at the very top of a range. Like, you know what I mean? Like up here. It looks a lot worse when you completely go right back to the previous day's open. Because the previous day was a nice strong day. So when you completely retrace that whole entire move, it's like, oh, yuck, right? Yuck. This is what we were looking for today. We were looking for a fresh daily low, then up. We didn't get it. We got a fresh daily low and down. Yuckiness. ETH as well, please. Yeah, I mean, we just looked at it for a split second there. It's down almost 4%. It's doing the same thing. You testing yesterday's open, and that's where you're slightly getting a bounce from. And I do mean slight bounce. That's disgusting. Straight freaking down for all of yesterday's up move. Yuck. I mean, and it started happening yesterday. Ooh, look at that. Is that legit? Is that on? No, that is not legit. That did not happen on Bitget. These two big nasty wicks there didn't happen on Bitget. So not really legit. But once again, you know, you're back to yesterday's open. I can't stress how bullish that is not. Looks to me like we might just be retesting a trend line we broke out of yesterday. I don't see the trend line that we broke out of. And besides, I mean, if you're looking at the longer term one, that trend line does not work off log. So when you guys are looking at trend lines, that's not it. It's right there. When you guys are looking at trend lines, please, please, please make sure you check both the log and standard scale. Simply because the trend lines that are the same on, you know, no matter which scale you're looking at, those are the ones that are typically going to hold. This trend line, if I take it off log, has already been broken out of weeks and weeks ago. So it's not legit. It's not a legit trend line. You can take it all the way over here like that. You still broke out of it, right? This trend line is probably not being looked at by anybody other than retail. So I mean, someone asked me about it on Twitter the other day, and I tried to explain that. You know, it's not. It did look good, right? Look good. Breakout, back down, retesting it, and okay, right? I'm not saying that I'm expecting it to go lower, but I'm prepared for it to go lower now. That's for sure. As long as you're not closing dailies below this price right there, then to me, we could still potentially see continuation to the upside, right? Because that is resistance right there. That's the resistance you broke out of yesterday. You closed above it. So today needs to close above 23,320. If it doesn't, this trend line is going to be broken more than likely. You're probably going to get a test of 22,971 and then lower. So we were looking for the bullish continuation. It doesn't always have to happen the way that I want it to happen, obviously. But in my opinion and in my experience, if you're going to see bullish continuation off of a small bearish range day coming off of a breakout, then you look for that daily lows, and that's your entry. Usually, almost always. Like if you're going to have a 3-drive up motion, like bullish breakout, little small bearish day, then big bullish candle next day, the low of that bearish candle before the New York session is typically a good place to look for long entries. We have seen it happen multiple times. Many entries I've taken like that. It just didn't work today. So that's why I got a little bit more of a cautious bias today. Tomorrow is going to be important. If we get a bearish day tomorrow, I will be looking to short this thing back down to support. And this is support. Right there, 21,247. That is your weekly open. That level held as support. And then he traded away from it. Here's another weekly up right over here. So that's going to be the first level to look to. Second level down here. If you break down. If you hold that with a close, I'll be optimistically bullish tomorrow. Optimistically bullish. Because this smells of a 3-drive topping formation also. Every time you break out, you can't get anything going. Right? This was a legit breakout. And then the next 6 days, 7 days, you were down. Then you got another legit breakout. Next 8 days, down. Another legit breakout. Instantly the day after, down. This to me looks like heavy selling. Let's go look at Glassnode real quick and just see if we have any puts being bought, because that could be, that could be suggestive of something. No puts being bought still. Put to call ratio is still on the lows. So that looks like people are looking like I am, looking for it to break out. So there's no point. Open interest is still up, trending, just big, right? It's big open interest. 12 billion. The peak, 12.6 billion. We could be coming to a turning point, guys. It doesn't look like it on the put to call ratio, but price action is looking like it. More and more, each day we get a breakout and nothing comes from it. See, getting the breakout is the first step. Continuation is what you need to see. If you don't get that, then you start looking for shorts. Start looking for shorts. And the bearish case is still very, very heavy as far as the macro picture is looking, right? So we'll give it a chance. We'll give it one more chance tomorrow. And then after that, more than likely, we're going to be bearish. Chris, Heath, you live for tomorrow? For the Discord, I will be. Yeah, live every day. Tuesdays and Thursdays will be public, and the rest of the days will be for Discord. Good morning, sir. Well done on the analysis today. We see CPI risk off. Yes. Getting ready for that number. I also think CPI will surprise to the upside. Not particularly bullish into a hawkish Fed. So what you mean is you think it's going to be 9.2. Yeah, if you get a 9.2 and you get a bullish move, I would absolutely be looking to fade that. 100%. See, sometimes you get the news, the trade ain't at the news. The trade will be like near the close of the day, right? So basically what he's saying, or what they are saying, is if you get a 6 or a 9.2 or 9.3 tomorrow, right? And if you get a bullish reaction off of that very bearish number, you will look to fade that somewhere up here. Don't fade it as soon as you touch it. Let it go through it. See if it drops back under it. You could trade it Thursday. It doesn't have to be traded on Wednesday, but the market's expecting lower. But the market expected lower last time too. So it doesn't really mean anything. It's just what they're expecting. But yeah, higher CPI. And with that big jobs number we just had, the Fed will hike harder and keep going. They say they're going to be data dependent, but we all know that if you get a higher CPI again tomorrow, you're still trending to the upside. You haven't topped out. The Fed will end up doing more hikes, and they still will be big ones. But so far, we've seen nothing but bullish price action off of Fed rate hikes. Right here was a rate hike. 2 big bullish days, and then nothing. So like you've essentially been trading in this range, just waiting on CPI. It's disgusting price action. Slow, and it's yuck. If you think about it, though, I think CPI needs to be well under forecast for the markets to rally. With strong labor readings, the Fed understands they can keep hiking. I know that. Yeah, we all know that. Everybody in the market knows that. We understand. This market is not bullish at all. But it's not superly bearish either, right? When we got down here, we had a game plan on this channel. And that game plan was we're going to trade it sideways to up. And that's essentially what we've done. We have been sideways to up. Nothing big up, nothing major up, just sideways to up. That's it. And that's exactly what we've done. Exactly what we've done. The next yearly resistance level to be a buyer, if you break down and take out this low, is 13,863 spot 13. That price. That's the place to be a buyer again if you take out this low. Right? If you take out that low, don't be a buyer until 13.8. It's as simple as that. I don't think we get down there, but who am I, right? I'm nobody. Absolutely nobody. I would have liked to see at least us get back up there and close that gap under 29K. Let's go look at that gap. Right there. Right there. That is also yearly supply. Also yearly supply. So anything up in here is a decent short position. A decent short trade, right? Now we're in kind of like the middle. Whereas if you look at this gap as being probably the top of the range for a while, and look at the bottom down here as support, you're essentially just in the middle. Dead smack in the middle of that, right? Here's the price line, current price line. That's the top of the range, and this is the bottom of the range. We're in the middle. So I would have liked to seen it get up there, but I thought it was going to do that already, and it hasn't. You have not been able to get anything going on these last 3 drives. Now, with that being said, you are making higher closes, so you are wedging. It is wedging up. So we'll just use that like that. Do this. All right. You are wedging up. This does look like it wants to break out to the upside. That's why we've been bullish, but I don't like today's price action. But today's price action can be to draw bears off sides for tomorrow. Think about it. In order to get that big, strong move to the upside, we need a lot of sellers down lower. We need lower sellers, not sellers up here. We need lower sellers. And lower sellers will provide that move to the upside. You just got to get people stuck. And they're probably stuck now. I guarantee you people are taking short trades down here. Intraday. Let's go to the 5-minute time frame. Yeah, you can guarantee people are looking to sell this thinking it's going lower. Because we do have so much room to the downside, minus that triangle or whatever. Minus that little near-term trend line. And we're still bullish, so as long as you're above the 50 and as long as you haven't broken down below this trend line down here, in my opinion, you got to look for upside. You just gotta, right? That's the trend line there that I was talking about on that Twitter post. But it's not so much the trend line that I'm looking for to hold. It's this, it's the 21, it's the 50 on the RSI, it's all of the above. You break down, then you're going to be under all that stuff. Then that would be the better part to wait for, like, then to start looking for those bearish trades back down to the low end of the range. I mean, today's price action hasn't destroyed the bullish move yet, but I don't like it. I don't like it when we test the open. We didn't yet, but I mean, man, it's right there. It almost got it. Or did it? No, almost got it. So close. I mean, you can pretty much consider that test, right? It was that upper long-term one on Law Gotcha. Yeah, we discussed that one. Yeah, I mean, it's still holding. Maybe it is retesting that. I would love to see it hold and see it continue higher, but not right now because I'm currently not in any long position other than my spot. That's it. Like, I don't have any leverage longs. So hopefully it waits. What is the Discord link? It's in the description of every video. Just click more on the YouTube channel right next to the title. I don't have it, or not the title, but the description of the video. Just hit more and it'll drop down the drop down menu, and in there is all the useful links. You're looking for the Patreon link. To add to your Bitcoin analysis, we have Mt. Gox supply entering the market soon. This is negative for the Bitcoin in my opinion, although we aren't yet to see how long-term hodlers will act when they receive their Bitcoin. So I'm not quite sure what you mean, Mt. Gox supply. I thought all that was lost forever and ever and ever. So how are they going to get it back? I mean, the people that bought from Mt. Gox, as long as they have cold storage, then Mt. Gox don't own their Bitcoins. But any Bitcoins that were on exchange are gone forever, I think. When do you consider selling your spot position? Never. Not for at least 15 years. I want to see Bitcoin trading at $1 million. I don't know if it'll get there, but I believe it can. Just with the fundamental aspects of how Bitcoin was designed and everything, right? With the halving, and if you look at Bitcoin, it's only a 12-year-old asset, but if you look at it, you can see one thing that is clear and present. It only goes up, right? Every now and then you get a period where you get 4 or 5 months of a pullback, but other than that, it's always up. It's always going up. See, people look at the bear markets only. Man, this thing only goes up. Obviously, that is changing, the trajectory of the size of up, but that's got to happen, right? But it only goes up. I mean, there's a clear and present trend there. And when does it usually go up? Yeah, after a few months of pullback. So being a buyer down here, in my opinion, is better than being a seller. We were sellers up here, not down here. I didn't sell my spot position, though, either. We started taking leverage shorts up there. Looking for price to roll over, looking for the bear market to come, because we knew the Fed was going to hike. They told us in October they were going to. So we knew October 2021 that the market was done. It was over. Nobody believed it back then. I don't really have any, I don't have any knowledge that says the bear market low is in either. Like, the macro is still very bearish. Very, very bearish. There's really nothing to suggest the low is in unless we start getting lower CPI prints, and it has to get at least 3 of them to be considered a trend. That's all Fed's waiting on. And then they're not going to become dovish again, right? They're just going to be less hawkish, and less hawkish could be bullish. I don't expect Bitcoin to start seeing any significant up moves until May 2024. I could literally see Bitcoin trade sideways for 2 years. Because this inflation really, really, really hurt a lot of people. Really bad. With rising gas prices, and inflation was rising as well at the same time. So, we need a recession. A recession will help with inflation. That's usually what happens. You get rising inflation, and then you go through a period of negativity, and then after a while, it gets better. It always gets better. The nastiness, the bearishness, it only lasts for a little while, always. I think the most we've ever seen a bear market last was in 2008. And that was 2 years, 2.5 years, almost 3 years. And then once again in 2001, or 2000, you had a big drawdown that lasted a couple years. But most of the time, that's it. Then you just look for straight up. Uppity, up, and away. So I never really understood the sell side market people, like the people that are only sell side. Like, they only always look for bearish stuff. I don't see why. There's nothing that suggests you should be trading like that. It is fun to nail a bear market or to call one, that's for sure, right? But we were all over it, so we're going to be doing just fine. Whether we're going lower or higher, it doesn't matter. We're going to do fine. 13.8 on the way they give the poors a shot like that. Don't know what you mean by that. 100% a test. When do you consider... Oh, read that. Hey, Heath, where is the Mt. Gox explanation? Oh, here is the Mt. Gox explanation. Bitcoin wasn't lost. 137,000 Bitcoin may soon hit the market as Mt. Gox is set to release funds to creditors that have been locked up for 7 years. Yeah, I mean, what are they going to do? They're going to sell? Is that what you're saying? Like all those guys, if they bought Mt. Gox's days, they're up big, right? So yeah, it makes sense that they would sell. I know if I had Bitcoin that I bought at, $150 and it's trading at what, $22,000 now, and those funds were not being able to be used for 7 years, I would be ready to sell it. I would have been counting down the days of when I could sell it. Right? Yeah, there's always going to be supply and demand. Always. That's what makes these markets move. All of them. They all operate on supply and demand. And until Bitcoin gets to a cheap enough price to bring in demand, it will continue to roll over. It's just at this price, is this attractive for investors? And I think it will be once inflation is handled, or once they start seeing signs of the inflation curve going up, until they see that roll over. And then you probably won't even get another chance to buy it down here if that happens. Right? That was my goal, my plan. Yeah, it might not even go back down there. May never, ever see it get back down there, right? Because Bitcoin, people like Bitcoin. And even though there's not a whole lot of left to buy, it's fungible. You can still shrink it, but most of the supply is owned already. Bitcoin was bought up in the last 10 years. It lasts a little while, always, just not all the time. Exactly, right. Bear markets are for just a brief period. Then you're going to see bullish rallies, and those rallies will last for years. Some last 10 years. I mean, look at this. Bear market there lasted for like 4 weeks, and it was over. It was over. Like doubled your money if you bought the bear market lows there. And it's been like that forever. Every single bear market. I mean, think about it. We're trading right now, if you want to consider this a bear market, which I do. Even in our bear market, our current bear market, we're still trading above every single price where a bear market started in the past. We're still trading above it. Way above it. Like this was your last bear market, and you're still trading well above it. And then if you go back in time and look, it's going to be the same. Way above any bear market that ever started. Every single one of them. We're much higher. 2008 was a big one. We are much higher than where that thing started. Doomsday people are, they think that if the United States government collapses the monetary system as we know it, the world will go down. It won't just be America. You won't be able to find an investment anywhere. Your money will be useless, right? Be worthless. So even having bucket loads of it wouldn't matter. So to even short it, you wouldn't be able to short it. Because the markets would probably, all of them, would just go offline. Yeah, I don't look forward to that. I look forward to buying bear market lows, baby. Buying bear market lows. That's the fun stuff. CPI inflation will take a long time for commodity markets to affect it. Commodity markets are already trading back down to normal levels. Well, not normal levels, but they're not ripping faces off to the upside anymore. Somebody said lumber, but I don't know lumber's ticker. Give me lumber's ticker, we'll take a look at it. But yeah, last several weeks, oil's off. You are under inflation numbers. Like this is when inflation happened. This is when the invasion happened, right? All of that. You're trading under that. And it goes the same for wheat. It goes the same for copper. It goes to pretty much all of them that were just basically blasting off are all trading back down at normal levels, or levels that they were trading before the pandemic, or not pandemic, but before the inflation scare, before the Europe invasion. Well, according to Glassnode, I watched a Glassnode video the other day. That guy stays pretty on track on knowing who's in profit and who's in loss. And as of right now, according to their metrics, there's not many people in profit. It would have to be early adopters, real early adopters. They're pretty much it, because the majority of the buying that went on in Bitcoin started during the bull market rally in 2017 and last year's bull market phase. That's when the majority of the buying happened. So most of those people are sitting in red. Earlier adopters are definitely in profits. Some people became billionaires off of Bitcoin. Multi-millions of dollars. Did you exit long you took on 13th July too? No, that was on a spot account. 13th of July was a spot account. That long has been since closed because of the other longs that I took. It destroyed the cost basis, right? So yeah, I am currently not in a leveraged position at all on Bitcoin. I have my spot account and that's it. But I am consistently looking for entries every single day, essentially. Right? Every day. Yes, yes, yes. There's your weekly open, man. Just trading just above it. I would love to see it hold. You can still be bullish as long as you're above that, right? That's the open. Right there. As long as you're above it, you can still be bullish. Once you get below it, then it starts to, then you're going to be looking for downside targets. And we'll look to sell rallies. We are so close. So close to that. If trading with size, isn't spot trading better? Less fees, less risk? Absolutely. Yeah, with size, for sure. With leverage, man, leverage makes fees much more expensive. So when you take, whenever you see people posting winning trades on Twitter, the 100x trades, those guys are not profitable. It is literally virtually almost impossible to make a profitable trading strategy using 100x leverage on any crypto exchange. You have to nail a lot of lows. At 100x leverage, Bitcoin only has to go against your entry by 1%. 1% to liquidate your entire holdings. And guess what? Most exchanges will liquidate your entire holdings much sooner than you get to 100% loss. When you reach 70% of loss, you start getting alerts, text messages, emails telling you a margin call, essentially, right? A margin call. And when you're already that low, just one little tiny move lower liquidates your entire account. It's literally almost impossible to make a consistent trading strategy using 100x leverage. You can do it with 6 or 10x. I'm doing okay with 20x, but the fees are massive. They're massive. So yeah, you don't have to have a large account to make a lot of money. If you have a $10,000 account and you apply 10x leverage to that, you could make $1,000 a day easily if you can win every trade you take, right? That's the thing. Who likes to lose $1,000? You don't need to make $1,000 a day in order to make money trading. If you could consistently pull out $250 a week, you're going to be a consistent, profitable trader. Is it enough to live off of? Absolutely not. But you can size up. The point of how much you make it's nothing. You just need to go by on percentage growth. Is your capital growing, or are you losing capital? Those are the first two things you have to identify yourself as a trader. Am I making money? Do I have more money in my account than when I opened the account? If the answer to that question is no, then you got a lot of stuff to work on, and leverage isn't going to help, right? Most trading plans and stuff like that, they're aiming at small goals, small achievable goals, because like I said, if you can outperform consistently the S&P 500, you're doing better than most traders. K4 Liberty says the one who labors is worthy of a reward. Thank you so much for the super chat, my friend. I really appreciate that. I really appreciate it. So yeah, tomorrow, our game plan going into tomorrow, we'll probably we'll live stream. Usually the schedule is going to be Tuesdays and Thursdays will be public, but anytime there's a big news event, NFP, non-farm payrolls, FOMC, any of that stuff, we're going to live stream that from now on. So like next FOMC we get, that comes out at 2:30, we'll live stream it. We'll start about 1:30. That way we can see, where the markets are, if there's any trade to take, what we'll be looking at. We'll broadcast all big news events moving forward. But like today, there's just nothing to do. We're just kind of waiting on the open here to see what happens. I mean, obviously the VIX is probably going to be moving up as long as the SPX is making lower lows. The SPX is only down by 0.4% on the day. That's a very small range day. Bitcoin's down a few percent. But if you look at the SPX, that is a tiny, tiny range day. And the last 4 days have essentially just been sideways with a few liquidations here and there. Like that was a liquidation of the highs. And, that was a liquidation of the previous day's low. But now if you keep making lower lows, then this is going to be the target. They're going to be looking to liquidate the lows. You're currently bouncing off of daily supply. Or demand, apologies. Right there. I mean, it came down and tagged it perfectly. So at 9:30, we could see a big bullish rip. I don't think you're going to because tomorrow's CPI, but you could, 100%. See a big rip. And most all cryptos are down. A lot of stocks will probably be down as well. So yeah, let me go ahead and take this time to say, if you guys aren't using Bitget, it is the cheapest exchange out there for active traders. I do have a link in the description. Make sure you use code XTSC. Come over and trade with us over there. It's a fantastic place. I haven't had a chance to look into the copy trading thing yet, but I will eventually look into it. I don't know if I'm going to do it or not. It just depends on a lot of things, right? Like, is it worth it to do it and all that? And how does it work? I mean, there's a lot of things that I need to find out. But, if it looks good, if it works good, nothing really I got to do. No bots or anything that I have to purchase and all that, then we'll maybe take a look into it. And then you'll be able to copy trade. But, I mean, I do post trades in the Discord all the time. So, and I do use Bitget. So it would help if you used Bitget, because when I give you prices and stuff like that, then you kind of have a good idea of what I'm looking at. The one thing that I have noticed about Bitget, though, is their daily candles do not match with Coinbase or any other daily candles. So like I have my time frame set on UTC4, and I have the same time frame set on Bitget's exchange, but the daily candles don't match, and I don't know why that is. I am looking into it. I think it's just they count the close at 12 o'clock or something like that. So I'm not sure why, but I'm looking to see if there's a way that I can fix that or change it. But it's probably not going to be something that you can do alone. So I'm looking into it though. But that's the one thing that has changed, or that is different. But as far as watching daily levels and weekly levels on this, and then applying those same levels to Bitget is simple and efficient, right? So I was watching this level for potential bounce. Well, first I was watching this level, then another level. We only took one swing at it, and that was here Once I closed that position, I was done for the day, but I was watching this for a bounce, and that is the weekly open. I was also watching weekly resistance as well. And the way I did it was I just got the price here, right there, right? And that price was what, 23,307. And on Bitget, you bounced at 23,175. So right there, the support or the weekly open is 23,180. Bitget bounced $5 from there. So I mean, that's not too much of an issue for me as far as the daily candles not matching, right? Because these levels are the ones that are holding in most cases. Not always, though, because the levels don't always hold. Like this morning, sometimes you're just going to lose trades. It happens to everybody. And the Aussie Swiss trade that we were watching, it's currently broken down. It is currently breaking down. So I didn't take this trade. I was just watching it, seeing how it was going to react. We did get a nice little bounce here, but as soon as it came back down, I knew that I didn't like it. I didn't really like it either when it only put a little bounce in and like really couldn't get anything going. So when it came back down, instead of looking to take that entry, I just left it alone. The Euro USD trade is working fantastic. Still in this from yesterday. Big, strong move to the upside overnight. Loved waking up to that. But the problem with that is that also meant that I was waking up to my short trade on Aussie dollar not working out as good. We went ahead and closed that one down. Spot trade account on Bitget is up 33%. Thank you, Heath. You are welcome, my friend. Yeah, you can trade spot on Bitget. You can trade futures. You can trade leverage. If you want to short, you got to short on futures. If you just want to hold spot, just hold spot. You do not have to apply leverage to any one of these positions ever. And that way, when it's a lot easier also to maintain a 1% loss on a trading account if you're not using leverage, right? Because your stop loss can be much wider and still only risk 1%. Whereas if you're using leverage, that's going to make that stop loss to lose 1% a lot smaller. A lot smaller. And the fees are tremendous. I tried it once on a very small amount of money, and I think I entered the trade with $200, and I made $100 on the trade, $100 on a $200 account. That's essentially a 50% return on investment. And when I closed out the position, I think I made a grand total of $56. So almost half of the money was taken by fees. It's not good. Not good at all. But it's still better than any other exchange. I was having that happen to me on KuCoin on just 20x, where they were taking almost over half of my profits. And that's not good or fun. And that was the reason for the switch, to be honest with you. That was the reason. But Aussie dollar just trading sideways today. Euro did look like it was going to have a pullback when Bitcoin was coming off, but that has since been bounced. So, the DXY is just in a place where it could either roll over here or find support. It's already found support, and I do like it when it looks droopy. The reason I want to see dollar break down is because that will be good for risk and Bitcoin if the dollar breaks down. People are taking profits on the dollar. The only reason they would be doing that is if they think that the top is close, right? That's the only reason for them to do that. So if you guys got anything you want me to look at, throw it in the thing. There's not a whole lot to do. We will stay alive until 9:30 just to see how we react, how the market reacts at 9:30. See if we get a little pop in some of these things or if we get continuation lower. We're sitting right at the weekly open on Bitcoin. Right at it. So that's what we're currently watching. That's also support on the weekly. But you kind of need a weekly close to consider that as broke down. But if you start closing multiple days under there, then we'll be looking for shorts. We'll look to sell the swing highs. Wolf skull. Not sure what you mean by that. You're saying hi to him. Oh, got you. I see it. Perfect. All right, so let's go look at a few other assets. Let's see how bad DOT's getting beat up today. Not too bad. It doesn't look nearly as bad as Bitcoin. And DOT had a pretty good couple weeks. That is a big candle. Big range there. On a big close. Last week was intra-week where he traded inside. This week he took out the high. So we were also watching Bitcoin to see if we took out the previous week's high and then reversed under it to look for potential short side entries. And we've done that. We did that. And I was looking at it once we got under it today. I was watching it. It was here. That was the weekly low, right? But I had gotten long there because that's another reason why I thought we were going, or not the weekly low. This is the weekly high, but it was today's low, the low of day. That's where you bounced intraday at the weekly, last week's high. So when it came back, I was looking for a liquidation on this and then that bullish rally, and it just didn't happen. So potentially, yeah, if you trade all the way back up to there and you stay trading under it, might be a good area to look for short trades. If you think the weekly range is going to expand lower for the rest of the week, then you want to try to, sell as close to the high of the week as you can. But yeah, there's that. Heath, will you take a look at silver? I have found a friend who wants to load up. Yes, sir. XAGUSD. It was getting beat up, but we've gotten a nice little bounce. Nice bounce off the lows. This thing did get well below its range lows, so it did get beat up a lot worse than gold did. But it does look like it has bounced. So what I would do is I would just, if he's just looking to load up to buy, I mean, literally anywhere down here is going to be okay. But obviously I would watch first the weekly support level there, and then if it wants to go lower, all the way down to here. Either one of those two prices will probably be okay places to look to be a buyer. And that is especially if the dollar has topped out for the year. If the dollar has peaked for the year, then a lot of these things are going to be trading much higher by the end of the year. How much higher? I don't know. But, I mean, silver and gold are both... Silver, not so much. Not really been doing anything for a long time. I mean, it's still just sideways. But gold did have a big move. Gold did make did have a big move. Let's go look at... No, we want gold. Let's go look at gold just for a second. But yeah, either one of those two prices, I would, I think you'd be okay. See, gold still looks okay. Gold's chart, how it goes up. Silver chart's just sideways. I thought we were looking for silver to break 1350 a couple years ago, and it didn't. It did get up there, but then it rolled over. But yeah, gold's having a little bit of a bounce too at the low end of the range at weekly support. There's your bounce. You're probably going to find resistance at that week's open though. Probably going to find resistance at that week's open. Let's go back over to silver. You've already taken out that big ass candle on silver, and it wasn't as big. It just goes sideways though. This is when we got up there. We were looking for this. Oh, we were well above $13.50. What am I talking about? You're way above $13 now. Maybe I'm thinking of a different asset. Is there an ETF that tracks silver that's trading under $13? I don't even remember the damn ticker for it. Yeah, it's trading up. It's trading well above $13. So never mind that. I don't know what I was talking about. It's oddly strange. But yeah, I mean, you're well under the range that it had cemented. But I mean, that's okay. This looks like a bottoming formation to me. Not quite an engulfing. I mean, that is on the weekly though, and you're getting bullish continuation. It might get a little bit higher before it rolls back over, but just watch that level and that level. And there is daily levels in the middle. No, there isn't. There isn't any daily levels in there either. You'll just have to revert back to old resistance if you want like a midpoint check of those two prices. Watch 1930. There. Maybe it was $30. And I was thinking 15 or 13. Maybe it was $30 we were looking for it to break. It just couldn't. Yeah, it's $30. I think it was $30, not 13. I don't trade it very often, and when I do, I trade stocks. I just buy options on the gold and silver ETFs. Bitcoin is back down at the lows, man. Getting close. We got 15 minutes until the 9:30 open. We'll see what happens. It's trying to liquidate everybody that got long there. Again, just can't get anything going to the upside. This is the weekly open. I definitely want to see a bounce there if it's going to be a bounce. I don't want to see it just fall right through that. I was assuming that you would probably get a tradable bounce off of it too, but this just looks so weak. SLV is the ETF. Yeah, let's go check the price of it real quick. I know I'm watching Bitcoin at that weekly open, but maybe that's what it was. It was this ETF I was looking for or something. I don't know. No, I mean, it's the same price. Yeah, it had to be $30. Had to be $30. We were looking for $30 to break, and it just couldn't. Yeah. You're only up a couple bucks on the ETF. Right? Back over here on Bitcoin. See if it's going to bounce from the weekly open. Would that be consideration of liquidation? I don't know. You got two more of these before you're going to get that move. So it's probably going to play around the lows for a little while, trying to draw people in to buy it. Or, trying to draw people in to sell it. But there's no way I would sell it down here. No way in hell. Up here, maybe. Down there, no. And not today either. Maybe tomorrow. We'll see how CPI comes out. And CPI will be out at 8:30 in the morning, so that's cool. Early morning. I like the early morning newses instead of the 2 o'clocks because I'm usually napping by then or out and about. Let me see here. Premiums on physical silver are through the roof. Yeah, I don't trade silver, the futures or anything, so I don't know. I don't have a brokerage that I can even look and get those numbers for you. Thanks for the live stream today. Heading back to my bear in this pool, or my bear in the pool. We'll check back tomorrow. 2:30 New York time. No, it's going to be 8, like the same time that we started today. We may start a little bit earlier, but it'll be around the same time we started today, which is 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, not 2:30. If you wait till 2:30, you're gonna miss it. But yeah, thanks for being here, my friend. Come on, time, hurry up. Euro USD topping out again. It's into daily resistance. It's going to struggle there, and you got a lot of them. But we usually just watch the last one, as that tells us pretty much everything we need to know. USD JPY is up barely on the day. I mean, SPY, can't look at that, it's not open yet. SPX getting a little bit of a lower move. Hourly res on the SPX is there. Support. Eight. Yep. Just an hour before now, right? DXY at the lows of the day. And so is Bitcoin. Funny how that happens sometimes. Even though these two assets should be trading inversely, they're both trading at the lows of day. So something's got to give, right? Maybe not today, but tomorrow. Something's got to give. Is this what we should be looking at? Or is what we're seeing today the fake move? That's the hard part to discern. But it shouldn't be trading at the lows of the day. Not with risk doing the same. ETH is trying to get to down 4%. It just can't. 3.95%. When it was down here, it was over 4%. And I think that's just the daily on ETH. No, it's the weekly. So you were red on ETH for a split second on the week. After that nice big bullish rally, you have completely retraced it all. This wick is not real. This was your low of day right there. I mean, it's real on this, but it's not on Bitget. So the low on Bitget was right there. Same as Bitcoin. Exactly the same. That's what it looked like on Bitget. That. On ETH. So this is probably going to be the low of day, but remember, what you're probably going to see for the rest of the day is a slow glide up, just a very slow, methodical move to the upside. And then I wouldn't doubt it, say, Asian session to see it go right back down, take out the lows, and then bounce if it's going to bounce. If you just continue on, then, like I said, we're going to be looking to sell rallies, more than likely. Moving on into the rest of the week and into next week, we'll see what happens. Let's go look at the NASDAQ. NASDAQ down 0.6%. Smoked the previous day's low. Got a small bounce. Look. It's not terrible, though. Still not terrible. It is a red week, but I mean, you've had a lot of nice weeks after you broke out. I mean, boom. And that's what held it. Old swing low. Not the swing low, but the support on the weekly. And then you could throw a trend line up there, too, if you wish. Check it on both log and standard scale. Make sure that it looks good on both. It does, like that. So that's probably what you got to see break out on NASDAQ in order for it to go higher. Q's gapping lower. Rut looks stronger for now, but it's gapping down at the yesterday's open. So it's probably going to fill this gap on the rut. Is that gap there on the daily? Damn sure is. So anybody that bought yesterday on the Russell or IWM, then they're stuck. So I could see this gap filling easily when the market opens today. Easily. Because all these people that are stuck, they got to exit those positions. And they can't do it till the market opens. So yeah. 192.82. That's the resistance level I talked about. That's pretty good. That's a pretty good ways up there. So you might not get a 5-minute stab up there. Boom. And then down. Got 6 minutes. Bitcoin's moving up a little bit, not much. Just sideways. Still. Let me just go up here and see if anybody asks for something in specific. Nope, nothing. Everybody's quiet today. We're just waiting around. Mana's down 3. I don't even know why I still have this thing on the chart. It's not an ugly chart, to be honest. It's definitely into an old area of support. It's not ugly. I've seen uglier cryptos than that, that's for sure. Thank you guys who are smashing the like button. I appreciate you. Doge destroyed. $93% off. And this thing gave us plenty of selling opportunities too, man. Plenty of them. But for the last several weeks, you've just been nothing, doing nothing on the bottom or on the lows. But it still looks like it's trying to break down again. I mean, to be fair, that definitely looks like you could get some more downside. You can't even get above weekly res. Can't even get above that. Multiple attempts. Haven't even closed the daily above it. Multiple attempts. Not really a whole lot of movement going on it though. How much is it down on the day? 8%. I guess it is still got big ranges. 8% range is a good size range to trade. Should have shorted Doge this morning. I wish I wouldn't have dropped off that crypto chart. Let's fly through some of these. I got Bitcoin on the other screen, so I'm keeping an eye on it. I don't have all the good ones on this, though. BNB's red on the week after trading above weekly res and closing above it. It's coming back a little bit. But I mean, to be honest with you, that could hold. That's what it's currently doing. I don't know if I would get long there. I mean, actually, I know I wouldn't get long there, but it could hold. All of these are just going to be up at the top. This one got beat up bad. We were watching it. It was trading above the yearly open for a little bit. Comp USDT back down. Ugly. Just looked at that. Dot, not so bad. Not so bad. I mean, but last week was the first chance you finally got the breakout. So watch the midpoint of this for EGLD. Elrond. You're just now testing the 318. I mean the 382. Shit, not 318. 382. That's the intra-week range. So down there would be the midpoint of the week. Looks bullish, or it looks okay. Looks like it's trying to break down. I mean, to be fair, if you threw a trend line on that, you would be breaking down. Not really. But you gotta go by the bearish candle. Yeah, I mean, it broke down. So short that one? I don't know, maybe. To be fair, it is in a level. Yeah, I don't mind shorting cryptos, but I mean, if you look at the weekly, it's already done. The short has already happened. Not much to gain there. FTM looks exactly the same. This thing looks absolutely disgusting. This is making lower resistance levels, so, and lower support levels. Might want to stay away from that. Might want to stay away from that. Kusama, it's trading inside last week's range. You're currently bearish, but it's been bullish. In the last 3 weeks were sideways, so watch and see if you get a push down below last week's low. If you do, take that out. So 9:30's here. Let's go back to Bitcoin, and then we'll wrap this stream up. So we definitely want to keep the weekly open down there like that. Oh, it was down there. It just took a minute for it to get there. And you're going to get a bounce off of it. I kind of figured that the low was probably going to be in, but then again, look for it to be taken out later. Now, if you think this is the low, you want to get in a trade before tomorrow, watch hourly resistance. Support. Let's get rid of one of these. Not that one. That's the weekly low there. This is the level I'm talking about. On a closing basis, 23,246 right there. You don't want to see another close below it. If you do, then you can't take it, right? You're already back there. So that would essentially be the entry. SPX down. Let's see. No, it's about the same, right? It's setting at 0.45% to the downside. It's not a big down day on the SPX at all. If you're looking for longs on that, you would be watching that. Let's watch SPY instead. There it is. Did the IWM do the same thing? Where are you at? There you are. Nope, you didn't even get a spike up on the IWM. Just straight down. So you just liquidated everybody that got long yesterday? Everybody that got long yesterday is probably gone. Done. There's the gap fill. Almost. Almost. It's close to filling it. You gotta get there at least to fill it. But gaps on these things happen all the time and they don't have to be filled, right? There's plenty of gaps under price action that'll never get filled on this asset. So I don't necessarily like trading gap fills, but you can aim for them. Like you can get short and aim for the gap fillage and then take your profits. That would be the best way to trade it if you did trade gaps. But gaps don't have to get filled. And the market will decide on whether or not it's filled. Everything is down, but it's not bad down. The Dow Jones is down 0.1. So 1/10%. IWM is down the most. Well, nope, NASDAQ's down the most. It's down a whole percent. QQQ is the same thing, down a whole percent. But they're the same assets, just smaller. Smaller scale. The QQQ is the NASDAQ. So yeah, getting a further push lower. Bitcoin still hasn't liquidated the low of day yet. See? That's your low of day currently. Or is it that other 5-minute candle? What's the low on that? 23,190. What's the low on this? 23,192. So that's your low of day. I figure you're probably going to trade away from it, right? Like I said, it's a tradable bounce play at that, but if you did take the trade, you're not looking for big continuation. If you get up into here, you just want to take profits, move stops. I can't take it because I've already lost money today. And I don't like losing twice. It's trading at the lows, and it has been at the lows for a while, so we could see more downside today. The New York, or the stock market just opened, so we got another 8 hours to go. That's a bad looking chart on the 8 hour. One would have wanted to see it stop down there. I did. I actually wanted to see it stop up there. So moving forward, I mean, this is going to be the level to watch for bullish entries if you do want to take a bullish trade on a very bearish day. Well, down 2%. That's not that bearish, right? We've seen Bitcoin be down 7, 8% in a day's time. So being down 2%, not that terrible. But that's the price to watch. If you close one candle, one hourly candle below that, then you scratch it, because you're probably going to see continuation lower. And this is your weekly open. So once you get under that, you're going to be red on the week. And then really the only thing you have left to hold you up as support will be that longer term trend line there. That doesn't even work. I tack it on the daily and it's perfect on the daily, but then you come intraday and it doesn't look right. So that's where it is. You still got plenty of room down to that. It's just this. It's just that right there. So nothing special. Not even really a trend, because you can't really get those higher highs in. This is a lower high. So taking out that candle's low to me smells bearish. Smells bearish. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. If y'all want to watch it, just watch that price right there. And don't do nothing if you close below it. Or if you take the trade because you have an aggressive approach. So just a tag of that price, you would probably set an entry, set a stop down there. That way you don't have to get very much to win the trade. You don't need a super high bounce. Wait, that's wrong. It would look something like this. Stop there, and just to get to, well, yeah, just to get to this candle's high would be a 2-to-1 risk to reward. And that's all you need. You doubled the money. Or, if you risk 1%, you make 2%, you close the trade. But trust me when I tell you, I don't much like it. The fact that it's not getting away from there. Like, this was a pretty good sized move to the downside, and then you've just basically been laying flat down here like a pancake. So there could be more selling. Like, this thing could break down and hit 23,000. And that would be disgusting, because then you would be red on the week. You guys have a fantastic day. If you have any questions, as always, feel free to drop them down in the comment section below, and I will answer them. And I will see you tomorrow morning around 7:30, maybe a little bit later, a little earlier. We'll see how it goes for the CPI newsprint, and it will be public. All news events will be public. You guys have a fantastic day. Make sure you trade safe. Make sure you trade smart. And as always, happy trading, everybody.